Hello, everybody, and welcome to another special episode of the Movie Guys podcast. I'm Ed here with Eric, and we, of course, it's Sunday night, and we're reviewing Game of Thrones episode 3. Eric, what did you think, my man?
I mean, this was a great episode, man. The build-up from episode 2 was that Jon Snow is going to be leaving Winterfell to be going to see Daenerys Targaryen, and this episode opens up with knowing fully what we want. We want to see what the hell's going to happen, and it goes right to it. It goes, "Yep, this is what we're going to show you. It's going to be the majority of the episode. Here it is. This is what you want," and we got that and so much more with it too. Man, a lot happened. A lot happened this episode, and it was a good swing in momentum on all parts this episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I completely agree. I mean, which, by the way, somebody had joked on Twitter. It takes Arya 6 years to get back to Winterfell, 6 seasons, but Jon Snow gets to Dragonstone in an episode.
Yeah.
I just thought that was kind of funny. But you're right, man. Like the momentum swung basically way on the other side for the Lannisters. They gave up Casterly Rock. They didn't give a fuck about it. And Euron Greyjoy basically trotted through the city, gave the queen, we call her the queen of Dorne,
She's
and the
queen.
princess.
You fucking don't tell her anything else. She's queen. She is the queen.
Yeah. Gave Cersei, the people from Dorne, the leader of Dorne, the new queen, and her daughter, and we got to see some girl on girl action with Cersei. So that was okay.
That was some vicious shit, man.
Yeah, dude, she's
dark.
We talked about it in a couple of previous episodes. Like, she's even more evil than you could have ever imagined. She's becoming one of my favorite villains, if you could call her that, of all time.
Yeah, I love it. I liked that. What's her name's Oriel Tyrell, the old lady.
Mm-hmm.
One of her things that she regretted was not having as good as an imagination as Cersei, and that is for damn sure, because Cersei can just, the shit that she has come up with in order to do what she needs to do is just, yeah, watch the fuck out. And it was a really good move for Jaime to give up Castle Rock. It was just like, no, like I took everything out of there too. Like, you guys won't stay there long. You can have it. We'll take the rest of the Reach, and we'll build strategy, build a barrier strategically, and make you guys just march. Just make you guys march
Mm-hmm.
all the way the left and then all the way back. So just make you guys waste time. So awesome, good move from him, and god damn, it's such just awesome, man. I'm just pumped about everything. We had to see a lot more Bran, who forgot how to smile.
Yeah. He transformed. Since the last time we saw him have a speaking role anyway, because he showed up in the first episode at the very beginning, and but he was there for 10 seconds, and now he's back at Winterfell and
back at Winterfell.
Yeah, which was a big moment. That was a huge moment. He's the three-eyed raven now. He's not Bran Stark anymore, and he basically told his sister to go pound salt. Like, I don't need you anymore. I am the three-eyed raven. And she didn't get it. She couldn't comprehend it, which I love that scene. Him back there, they're back at the Were Tree, and he's saying, "I'm the three-eyed raven," and I learned it from the three-eyed raven, and Sansa's looking at him like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah, I'm the three-eyed raven.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's on first?
Yeah, I mean, so let's really dive into it. I mean, I think, first of all, we had talked in a couple of previous episodes of the Valyrian steel, and now we know that Jaime has a Valyrian steel sword.
Yeah.
Lady Tyrell goes over that, and I think that they sort of lead to the fact that they basically tell you that Dany lets Jon Snow mine all the dragon glass. So you've got the two most important things going up against the White Walkers, which maybe we're going to see it this season, maybe we're not. But we know winter's here. We know the war is coming. Would you sort of think that, about the way Jon Snow approached the scene with him and his basically his aunt.
Well, it's a rough scene. It really is because when you first go in, like it's really you don't know they're two hard hitters. So they're stubborn. You know that they've both come a long way, and you want both of them to win, but there's going to be some resistance at the start, and that was actually a pretty good way that they did that with the long intro that Khaleesi got. Then she's like, "Yeah, this is Jon Snow. He's
That was funny. I
King of the
laughed at
North
that
type
moment.
thing." But like the vision that they see of each other is like Daenerys sees this guy as just like some fucking scrub, some trash guy, who's
Hmm.
just suddenly he's like a tribesman. He's just like some jungle kid that was just running around, just like, hey, you know what? I'm king today, and that's just what she thinks, man. And he thinks that she's just some fucking stuck up rich bitch who has a name. He's just
Yeah,
like, you know what? You just have a name. You got some dragons, and you're just like, yeah. Well, I want it. Daddy said I could have the throne, and so I want the throne.
yeah. I mean, I agree with that. I mean, we'd been waiting since this. We fell in love with both of these characters for them to finally meet, and they finally do. And I don't think the episode let down, or excuse me, that moment let down because they were true to form in who they were. What got both of them to the position they're in, meeting each other to a certain degree, but Jon Snow knows a little bit more than Danny does at this point anyway. They're that the conversation between the two of them is neither of them are backing down, but they're both sort of conciliatory at towards the end. They both basically say that we sort of need each other, but I loved the fact that it finally came to a head. I love the fact that they finally had the conversation. They were both headstrong. They both basically told each other to go fuck themselves.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I like Tyrion's role in the whole thing too. There's a lot of respect that's being thrown towards back, and it's good to see kind of players acknowledge each other like that too.
Hmm.
You grow with them too. Your respect for them grows with them, and it's really gonna suck for when they die, because that's just growing
I
that much more into them.
I actually expected somebody to die this episode. I didn't know who,
I thought it was gonna be Grey
but
Worm after that whole
yeah.
sequence when the Unsullied started running, which is pretty cool by the way. The way Tyrion was just like, yeah, the walls are high. That's gonna suck, man. That's we shouldn't do that. But luckily, I fucking did the sewers, so
Because of his love for whores. And we had said this in a previous episode too. Like Tyrion knows what he's talking about when it comes to Casterly Rock, but that's two in a row. That's strike two. He's been wrong twice now, and by a big shot. Like, the first time he got the vast majority of the fleet destroyed, and now he guessed wrong as to where the Lannister army would be.
yeah. So options are going pretty thin right now. What's to stop them from just being like, okay, you know what? Fuck all this. Dragon, get in there. Dragon time. Let's just erase all this shit. Like, fuck all this.
Yeah.
Like that's an option right now where it's just like, okay, we don't have time for this. So who's to know? But even in that part, like this is where I think it's so awesome because the momentum shift that is this because we all thought that at the beginning of episode one that like Khaleesi was going to have the upper hand. Like she seemed to be just big pimping, like
Hmm.
she's made her way to Westeros and better watch out, and all that other shit. And I feel that people were just like, well, Cersei, you're kind of losing this. And suddenly, out of nowhere, Cersei's back in the game, like full fucking force. Like she's taken a huge upper hand here. She's has control of Dorne. Well, maybe not control of Dorne because of this, but I mean, Dorne is probably in shambles right now, so that's probably getting not gonna be without anything like that. She has their
Hmm.
leader, and she's torturing her just horribly. So Jesus,
Oh.
to have her
Oh.
just, I'm gonna have you sit down here and you're gonna watch your daughter die and rot in front of you. Like, oh my God, that's vicious. And
It is.
yeah, it's so fucking good. God damn, it's so dirty. But then to take over the western part of the Reach, and then she's a big player in this game. I have a question for you though, because in the beginning part of the introduction between Jon Snow and Targaryen, why do you think that John is so hesitant or unwilling to reveal that he was resurrected?
That's a good question. I mean, from a personal standpoint, I think maybe it's an embarrassment, and he does mention previously, sort of, and not in so many words, that he's ashamed of it. But if you think about it, number one, he's presenting something that is hard to believe to begin with. The ideas of the White Walkers and the Night King. And then to add on to the fact that he was resurrected from the dead,
Yeah.
he's preaching against the dead, but yet here he stands as being dead. So
Oh, hey,
so
that's might be your thing.
maybe that's part of it. That's a great question. I mean, just theoretically speaking, I think, like I said, I think he's embarrassed about it, and he didn't want to be brought back. He hates the
Yeah.
fact, and later in the episode, he says, that he's ashamed of the fact that he's good at the one thing that he's good at, which is killing people.
Is that yeah, he says he hates it. It's not a proud thing to be good at.
Yeah.
When so that's why he's pissed off at Melisandre, right? Is because
No, I mean he's pissed off at her for Sir Davos. He's more mad at. I mean, he doesn't like the fact that he was brought back, but he's brought back, and it is what it is. And his life is kind of like, he's basically leading. He's the brooding type when Tyrion says that. But when Davos finds out that she killed what the hell's his name? Stannis
Stannis.
Baratheon. Yeah, Stannis Baratheon's daughter, who he was so close to. He goes back and pleads to Jon Snow for him to kick her out. And he basically says, "You brought me back to life. I don't really owe you anything. Thank you for that. That's why I'm not killing you."
Yeah.
So, but she sacrificed an innocent person for the fire god, and that's why Jon Snow. I don't want to say he's pissed at her, but she feels as though she made mistakes, and that's why she was willing to go. So it was like a combination of all those things.
Okay. So that's what I thought. It was just that's the reason why she doesn't like either of them. Yeah. Or what, she's just avoiding that. But we also had a
Right.
big scene on that hill where she the priestess and Varys are talking. Because he was just like, well, if you're gonna go back to Essos, then don't bother coming back to Westeros. And she has this moment, almost like to the camera, where she was just like, "Oh no, no, I'm staying to Westeros. I'm dying on this continent, buddy, just like you. Like we're all gonna die here." Like
Yeah, and
she had said
I'd
that
have
to him. I will die on this continent just like you, or something very similar to
to.
that. And could that mean that she already knows that those two right there are probably both going to die?
Well, it's a possibility.
Is the last
She
episode
sees.
or two just gonna be just straight death scenes, like just 20 death scenes of all your characters just die, 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 just
Well, honestly, they have to kill off a lot of storylines at the end of somehow during this season, because they've got 6 episodes next year to finish the story.
guys. And I just another thing too. We had a small, like 2-3 minute clip of Theon Greyjoy in here of him being rescued onto the
Hmm.
boat by what would be his countrymen or islandmen, and in shame, and he's half dead, pretty much. Why are
Hmm.
we get why? Why is this so important? Why are we watching this? Why was that 3 minutes? Huge episode today. Why did we only get like just that little bit? Like what? Something's happening here. I don't want to hype it up too much, but I'm really curious as to why the fuck I need to give a shit about this guy anymore.
We're gonna find out. I think, maybe not next week, but in the coming weeks, we're gonna find out why they did that. Is it because that Euron, they don't want to follow him anymore? They feel like they made a mistake, and that and Theon is the true rightful heir in that sense, even though he
Everybody
abdicated.
hates him. Nobody likes him. Everyone, even when he got back and Yarya took him in. Yarya took him in, and people were just
Hmm.
like, "No, fuck him, dude. He's a piece of shit." She's
Hmm.
like, "No, no, he's my brother." And
That's exactly what it was. It's a maybe at this point it's a birthright thing. Things that we as Americans don't necessarily 100% get or understand the respect of the name and the person based upon who you are.
What
You know, maybe I'm
is
just
what's
talking out of my
happening
head.
though? What is his angle? Where? What? Why? Who? What? How? When? Where? And Widget? And why
The,
him? What? What's? I want to see it. I just. I want to believe, and I'm excited. I'm excited for something's gonna happen. If he's like, if the Night King, if Theon is like the Day King. Yeah.
that's well, I don't know. I mean, I doubt he's the king of anything. He's basically afraid to do
He
anything.
just needs to learn to shine. That's all it is. The Day King
And they
needs to
called
find
him
his.
out, by the way. I loved how they called him out when he said, "I tried to rescue my sister," and they all basically said, "If you tried to rescue her, you wouldn't be here.
Yeah,
Like we know that you're lying."
yeah.
So that sort of brings us to the end of the episode when the Lannister army is marching on, you know, the Tyrell house. The house. What do you remember what that name is? I don't
High
remember.
Garden.
High. That's it. High Garden. So they're marching on High Garden, and Lady Tyrell sees them and basically gives up and asks, "Well, did we fight well?" And Jamie says, well as could be expected, I guess. And she knows she's going to die. They have a brilliant conversation between the two of them. And Lady Tyrell accepts her death. She chugs the poisoned wine, and then tells Jamie the one thing that none of us really knew: who killed Joffrey. So we now know who was behind it all, who killed Joffrey, even though that she had hinted at it sort of when she was talking to her granddaughter. What was her name? I can't remember now. I'm losing my train of thought on that, but
Natalie Dormer, Marjorie.
yeah, Marjorie, that's it. Yeah, she sort of hints at it, like I'm not gonna let this guy be your husband. So, that was a brilliant conversation at the end when she says, "I want you to tell Cersei that I was the one that killed him."
Because they think that Tyrion did it.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jamie doesn't. Jamie doesn't know, but he knows in his heart that Tyrion wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
So what's that conversation going to be now? Is she gonna forgive her brother? Is she gonna forgive Tyrion? Who knows?
This is really exciting because in the best part of this is that I saw the preview for next episode, and I don't know if you caught this. I'm very, very, very positive that I saw a blip of Gendry hitting shore.
Oh, I didn't see it. I did not see it.
I'm sure that if you go into forums right now, people are flipping a nut about it. I'm actually going to go to it just to make sure right now. I think I already know what the answer is, but here we go. Here, I'm sure someone has to report on it soon, but I'm
Yeah.
very, very quite certain that I saw uh, Gendry being docked. It could maybe if someone who looked like him, maybe it was
Mm.
Theon, but that's what my hope. That they did not completely ignore this dude's storyline.
Well, I'm excited. This is why we love Game of Thrones, because they have so many open storylines that kind of sort of where each one's going, but then they throw you the curveball. So if they're bringing that storyline back, and that's been like 2 seasons, hasn't it? It's been a while.
I mean, yeah. Jeez, I'm trying to get confirmation right here.
So each storyline is yet to be completed, and the main ones, they haven't killed anybody yet, so we don't know where that's going. Other than like this sort of ancillary characters in the sense like Lady Tyrell, even though she moved the story, she was sort of ancillary in her storyline because we knew where that was going.
Right.
The Dornish, the people of Dorne, we knew where that story was kind of sort of headed.
Secondary kind of
Uh,
just builders.
yeah, they've ended all the second. Well, there might be a couple other ones that I haven't thought of, but they've ended the main sort of secondary storylines to make way for the few episodes they have left to come to a head in the main story. So, all in all, I think this episode was probably the best one of the season thus far. We have, 5 more to go or 4 more to go.
Yeah, something like
But
that. But I hate when I see that. I mean, Olina was the king of the one-liners, though, too. I'm looking
she
at
was.
a few of the quotes that people are posting right now. When Jamie had said, "There are always lessons in your failures," and she says, "Yes, you must be very wise by now."
Yeah. That's true. Jamie's been taking a fucking beating with the one-liners this season. Like Euron's been tearing him apart. Now, Lady Alana is tearing him apart. It's, I think, like I said, I think this episode sort of brought a lot together, and you had mentioned as well. This episode brought a lot together.
Yeah.
Now we sort of feel like, I feel like anyway, I know the direction that they're going to go. It's going to be very much a sort of a middle of the trilogy feel, in that the bad guys are going to win for a while, and you're going to start to see build up of how the good guys are going to win. I'm waiting for that first major kill, because it's going to happen. We know it's going to.
It's got to be coming up soon, man, because we get Bran is back in the mix now at
Yeah.
in the side of Jamie Lannister too.
Hmm.
That's gonna be a good one too. I'm curious to see what's gonna happen now that Khaleesi's armies are really shitty now.
Yeah.
They are damn near nothing. She just has the Dothraki, which are still a huge fucking force to be numbered with, but
Oh, yeah.
but like they're stuck on Westeros now, like.
Hmm.
So they're in foreign lands. That sucks. But I'm excited to see Arya, the Stark reunion's
Hmm.
going to be happening here
Hmm.
pretty soon, hopefully next week. I want to see that.
Hopefully next week. But Arya is apparently the worst navigator ever, so it might take her a couple more episodes to get back to Westeros.
Well,
Or not, back to
she's hanging out with Ed Sheeran.
yeah. He's swooning her with his beautiful voice.
I'm curious to see what's going to happen with the Hound, because what if the
Mhm.
Hound runs back into Arya again?
That's because he's in the north now.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see what that's going to happen. There's some shit
In
like
the
that.
Brotherhood without banners, yeah.
I'm curious about Sam and Jorah. So Jorah's gonna be back in the mix now, after he is completely cleared of his grayscale. He's going back to Khaleesi, and she's probably just gonna be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, fuck! I thought you
You
were gonna
again?
die. I actually didn't think you'd come back, but
Yeah. She's
awkward."
the guy that she's the one that friend zoned him, and then feels bad about it, but isn't gonna unfriend zone him.
Yeah, exactly. Can't let him go. But Sam, it is growing on me, man. He's all right. Good on you, Sam. You did that, and his reward is to copy some ancient scrolls. Now it seems like work, but are you thinking that he's gonna find some bit of information in them scrolls? Maybe.
Probably,
Yeah,
probably,
ancient scrolls.
probably, probably. It's if anybody's gonna find what is needed, it's Sam, and because he's the nerd of the group, and he is, I think you're right. I think he's gonna find something major. He's already found the dragon stone, so like he's got to find the other thing. Maybe he's gonna find a way to manufacture Valyrian steel again.
Dude, he's doing a lot more than Bran right now, and Bran is fucking a three-eyed raven.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You'd think the guy who could see the future and the past simultaneously would be able to know how to manufacture the things that are needed to kill the White Walkers.
Yeah. So he's at the tree, and that's a big thing for him, right? That's a tree that he can use to connect to the internet, right?
Yeah. He is the router.
Yeah. So I mean, he's gonna be partying it up in there for a little bit. I'm excited to see where that's gonna go. I mean, everything's building up, and these episodes need to be a lot longer.
Well, this one was just over an hour, so I think they're going to slowly start to build. I mean, they have to be, because there's too much shit to tell in, what do we have, 8 hours left?
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Oh, man!
there's a lot of shit. There's a lot of stuff to tell. So, I'm interested to see where it goes. Just like every other Game of Thrones fan. Luckily we have the power of the interwebs so that we get to research and look a lot more than a lot of folks. So I don't know about you, sometimes my friends ask me questions about the show, and luckily there's a YouTube video for most of it. So if you have any questions about things that maybe we didn't answer, I would highly suggest, just looking up episode 3 reviews on YouTube by people that are a lot more knowledgeable than us. We just, this is a great reaction, and we love doing it. Please, everybody, also, we do movies for a living, so check us out at Movie Guys Pod on Twitter, movieguyspodcast.com, movieguys.podbean.com. That's the hosting site. We love feedback, so please send us a tweet, send us a Facebook message. We're on all of those, and also check out Be Real Network. A lot of great podcasts get together, and we just love talking about what we do with each other. So, thanks again, everybody, for listening to us. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you next week for another special episode of Movie Guys Podcast, Game of Thrones, and later on this week we got a nice, awesome movie for you too. So, look for a couple of posts the next weeks or so.